Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Hi to all MPI friends and to all our annual convention attendees in Turin. This is Luisa Bianco, Vice President Education at MPI Italia chapter. I am very pleased to introduce Babs Nijdam, who is Commercial Director at Emerpodia based in Amsterdam. She's also Vice President Education at MPI Netherlands chapter.
Yes.
Babs,
Hello.
how are you, Babs?
Fine. Good to see you all.
Okay. So a few words, Babs discovered her passion for the event industry at Amsterdam RAI more than 10 years ago, from which she brings extensive experience working with corporate and association clients. She has vast knowledge of sustainability and new innovations in the events industry. And she is also founder of the Dutch chapter at GMIC, which is the Green Meeting Industry Council, to promote green meetings in Holland. She has been the program director of EMEC 19, which recently won a BEA Award for Best Conference. Babs combines strategic thinking and design thinking to innovate and realize sustainable business growth. Babs, thanks again for your time and for this interview, and to meet all our MPI chapter members and friends. For several years, sustainability within the events industry has been gaining relevance more and more. Many people talk about sustainability and sustainable meetings and events and how we can contribute to improving the environment, society, and profitability. Many people also think that yet not enough practical implementation is happening, despite a mountain of education, tips, workshops. It seems that is still significant progress to be made. In your opinion, Babs, our event industry is making significant progress regarding practical implementation in terms of sustainability. Where are we?
Ooh, big question, Louisa. I think we are, I started with sustainability, I think in 2009, and I've seen in various countries or in meetings some progress, especially in terms of sustainable food, looking at also more healthy food for attendees. But and there are meetings and destinations that are really focusing on sustainability as one of their main USPs. But I think we still have a ways to go. It still feels, I think, for a lot of event planners as something extra to do on their big list of things to organize an event versus that it's integrated into the whole plan and there's a strategic plan for many years to come. So it's always one-off versus saying what's the plan for the next years and how can we become more sustainable within 5 years or 10 years instead of just focusing on one event at a time.
Yeah, thank you, Babs. And as event planners, we have a responsibility to pay attention to how our business is impacting local, national, and global environments. We are slowly emerging from the pandemic, and we are aware that some measures taken have benefited the environment. From the noteworthy environmental effects of COVID-19, we noticed, for example, that the air pollution levels have dropped significantly. As event planners, Babs, what can we do to ensure that travel is being done in ways that will bring benefits and not harm?
Well, I think one of the jokes I used to make with my team at GMIC is that the most sustainable meeting is not to have a meeting at all. Well, I don't know if that's something that we want to do as a meetings industry, but I think COVID-19 has brought significant levels of online meetings, and that was we didn't have a choice. But I think because we've become so used to having online meetings, I think to be more strategic as an event planner, to think, so what is my why am I planning this event, and what is the main reason we are organizing this. And then before you start planning it live, I think you have to make the choice, does it need to be live or does it need to be online? For example, I think if you're just exchanging knowledge and it's just education, I think online is a perfect way to communicate with your audience, and making sure that they don't need to travel internationally. Because planes, the CO2 is very impactful, and research has been done is that the biggest impact on meetings and how to be more sustainable is to decrease the number of travel. Yeah. So I think it gives us an opportunity also to be more critical on why we're organizing the meeting, and if there's another way of doing it. And at the same time, looking at ways to compensate your CO2, or now it's, when we started, it was still something difficult for attendees to compensate their CO2, but we see now that a lot of big airline companies have that standard in booking your tickets. So I think in that way although you are traveling to an event, it's still a way to compensate your CO2 emissions traveling to an event. So, and that can contribute to being more sustainable. There's always fun ways as well. I think we did it at EMEC, not necessarily only because it's more sustainable, but actually was a valuable way of networking, is to actually see if you can get attendees to travel together in a car, for example. So if you can facilitate that as an event planner, it saves everybody from traveling alone. At the same time, it also allows valuable networking time to the event, and valuable connections can be made. So it's not just about the sustainability impact, but also about what is the goal of your event and how can that contribute in the way to be creative in terms of travel.
Thank you, Babs. That's right. We have to define the goals first of all.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. The title of the roundtable that follows our conversation is The New Era of Sustainability, with experts from different fields. According to you, are we facing a new era in our industry? And what does it mean and take today to design a sustainable event? This is the great question, Babs.
Yeah, I think the new era is that we are more aware of the choices that we have in terms of online and live, and how we can have more impact as an event. I think we've talked a lot about how we can reduce garbage and how we can have more sustainable food options, how we can recycle things. But I think now you see as well more and more also in terms of destinations that we're looking at. What is the impact of an event, especially an international convention, on the impact locally? And normally we used to look at it economically, but now we're looking for, what legacy are we leaving? That's also something that is part of sustainability. And the legacy can be in terms of education or network or economic connections that make sure that there's enough business done. But I think there's also a value with focusing on the people. As a big convention coming to a destination or a city, if you can contribute to the local community in some kind of way and make it a valuable team activity, then at the same time you're using networking and you're leaving a legacy behind, helping people that might be in need, or children that might need additional education. So I think we've noticed that we value the connection with people more and more since COVID-19 has been around, and we look forward to being more connected with people around us. So I think focusing on the people in the next few years and how we can impact local communities will definitely will add on to sustainability, and I think it will bring not only value to delegates, but also, and of course, to the local community as well.
Thank you, Babs. Thanks again for your time. I am sure that our attendees will be inspired from your words and from your tips, and they will make treasure of your tips.
Thanks you very
again,
much.
And hope to see you soon.
Yes, and if there's any questions or additional conversations, please feel free to reach out. Anybody in the session today, I'd be happy to help or talk.
Sure. Thanks again, Babs.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.